Love to see all the crashers here in YPS. I'm so excited for us to get started. So before we do, I'm actually hopefully not putting someone on the spot right now, but Becca from Visa, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about the gift and your special message that you wrote for all the crashers and YPS members.
Yeah, so hey everyone. So hopefully earlier this week you got this special, oh no, I hope it can show up with my virtual background. This AACUC and Visa mug. So if you have your tumbler tonight, definitely use it. I know I've been seeing a lot of people using it throughout the conference. It's great with coffee, water, alcoholic beverages, whatever floats your boat. But the note that I wrote, we really just wanted everybody to come together and have a great 5 days together. And I kind of came up with this signature beverage recipe. So it's 1 part energy, 1 part patience, 1 part courage for questions, and 1 part fun. And I feel like this has been incorporated this entire week. So thank you so much for everyone who's shown up and just been involved in all these great conversations. So cheers, everyone.
Awesome. And if we could, maybe we can try and all look cute for some screenshots, because otherwise inevitably one of us will be blurry, or it's going to be me with my mouth open, which is often the screenshot. Ready? Awesome. So yeah, thanks everybody. Oh, all right. Thanks everybody. Thanks for coming in tonight, and I just wanted to say a couple words to kind of let you who are new to this kind of know what traditionally kind of this Thursday night sponsored by Visa for the YPS has been. So my first AACUC and Young Professional event was in 2017 in Raleigh, and all of a sudden we just heard that, hey, Visa wants to take the young professionals out. And we're like, what? Visa wants to take us out? And so we went out, and they were kind of like, get what you like, and it's just become this really amazing event that all the young professionals look forward to, where it's just us and we get to network. Visa takes good care of us, makes us feel special, and we really get to have these bonds start to form. You've probably seen Adrian Johnson, chairman of AACUC, speak a few times already during the conference. He's amazing, and he's one person who has definitely been someone who's spoken life into me. And I remember that first conference, we were kind of all kind of checking out, and I happened to be in line behind him. And he just said, he said, these ties that you're making as young professionals are so important. He said, I've known my peers for 20 plus years. He's like, this will be you all in 20 years. So really pay attention to the connections that you can make with folks. When I look back and see that I've known folks like Wesley and Tracy and Ashley, for 4+ years, it's amazing. And then now getting to know Courtney, I can't imagine that we won't continue to stay connected and learn from each other through this time. So that's what this is really meant to be. We want to have a lot of fun tonight and relax. We can't do it in person, but we'd like to be as silly and as goofy and as free as we would be if we were in person all together.
Awesome. And then I'm just going to share a little bit about how the Cooperative Trust really came to be part of this wonderful event. And at the end of the day, it was again because of the amazing folks at Visa. They had approached Renee right after the Governmental Affairs Conference and basically said, we need to get crashers to AACUC. And that was pretty much what she wrote. And Renee and I have been working together since. It gave me the opportunity to meet Opal. But really what's the most exciting about this is that now all of you as Cooperative Trust members and crashers will have a 1-year membership to AACUC. And part of the reason why we selected this group to come is because we knew that we were inviting in people that would use it, would listen, and would really be participative in all of the programs that AACUC has to offer. So it is such a wonderful gift to have. It's also such a wonderful gift to be invited into this space. So thank you everyone for being extremely respectful and listening, and just know that this is hopefully the first of many AACUCs for the Cooperative Trust. And as Opal mentioned, I told her I wouldn't do this, but I might be texting her from time to time, because you've all heard her spoken word. I was in tears at a restaurant, like by myself, listening to her amazing art. And this is exactly what networking is all about. The Cooperative Trust and Crash has had to evolve because we can't take you to conferences. And one of my biggest fears was, how can we still feel connected? How can we still feel like, we can have a cohort. And as Opal mentioned, lifelong friends. And I feel like we've definitely shown that that's within our wheelhouse from this event. So I'm really, really excited that you all have come with open hearts and open minds to be good allies and listen. So, and also thank you to AACUC for inviting us on board as well. So I'm really going to be hosting this session tonight, which I'm super excited about. And it is definitely meant to be fun. So what we're going to do before we get into what we're actually going to do, we're going to do a little icebreaker activity. So it's been awesome to see everyone's interactions in the chat, but we haven't had a whole lot of opportunity to actually just talk to each other about ourselves and get to know each other. So what we're going to do is we are actually going to do an icebreaker. And this icebreaker is something that we use at the Cooperative Trust quite frequently. Some of you may have seen it before, but it was actually something that was developed by another Filene community by the name of I3. And I3 stands for Ideas, Innovation, Implementation. And I think we have a few, one current and a few alums on this call, which is super exciting. And this is another thing that I love so much about Filene, is our communities are definitely intertwined. So I'm going to share a little bit of background about this particular game. And I will actually point all of you to the chat box. So if you go into the chat, you'll see that I've actually uploaded 3 files already for you. The first file is a PDF copy of the entire game. This is usually the easiest way for you to open it. So thank you, Melanie, for doing this for me. But it'll basically open up in a PDF and you'll have access to every single card that's in this deck. The second 2 files are actually the Photoshop version of it. So if you want to bring this game back to your credit union or organization, you can actually print these out on a deck of cards and play them in your organization. So all of those have been uploaded for you. Feel free to download them and use them as you will. And I will explain why they are so exciting and how they're so useful. So the game is called To Be Honest. And it was developed out of a need to solve the problem of being put onto a project team where you don't know anybody. So either by a show of hands or head nods, how many of you have ever been put on a project team with a bunch of strangers?
Hey, Courtney, real quick, it looks like the chat is disabled for some of us. We're talking about it in our group me.
Ah, okay. We will make sure that that is fixed. Thank you very much. Okay, so it looks like there are a few head nods and a few hands that have been raised. It can be super awkward. And then not only that, you're expected to be on this team and then work really cohesively together almost immediately, but you don't really know how people work or really who they are, or what makes them tick. So that's what this team was looking to solve for. So their initial prototype was this really interesting idea. What they were going to do is they were going to create these glasses, and these glasses would have Google Glass in them. And so whenever you'd put them on, as a person would walk into the room using augmented reality, you would actually have a user profile pull up. So say it was me and I walked into a room, it would say, oh, there's Courtney Angeli. We're going to pull her LinkedIn profile. And what we're going to see are all the things that Courtney's done throughout her entire career. Seems like a really cool kind of like technologically advanced idea to get to know someone. Well, we pitched this idea to a Filene fellow, not different than, well, not Sekou Burmese, but like Sekou Burmese, who we just saw in the last session, another Filene fellow by the name of Huggy Rao. He works out of Stanford University. And his big focus is on organizational friction, both good and bad, and that's what he studies. So he took a look at this prototype and he was like, no, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. Throw this out. You're looking and thinking about all of the wrong things. And we're like, oh gosh, okay, great. So what should we be looking at? And he tells us the story. He tells us the story of a Chinese military general, that his main mode for planning strategy was to take all of his top military leaders out for a night, get them completely tanked, and talk strategy. And after that was done, he'd say, all right, the next day we're coming back together, but this time he would do it and he would make sure they were sober. And in the sober moments, what they would find is that they were already connected. They were already open, ready to share. They had already talked about some of these wild and crazy ideas, but through their sobriety, they were able to refine them into things that were actually very strategic and forward thinking. So he told us this fable. And what we really got from that is, it's more important to connect with a human being first than it is to connect with what they do professionally. So for example, say someone walks in and you had this augmented reality, these goggles on, and you think, wow, this person's a VP. They've done this, they've done this, they've done this. And then they don't perform well. Or maybe that frightens you. You're thinking, man, I shouldn't be in this room because these people are way smarter than me. So you're already starting to form opinions about people that really have there's nothing there. There's no solid foundation for them actually to be accurate. So the team went back to the drawing board in traditional innovation fashion. And they were actually inspired by a game that you have all probably played in your life, and that is Cards Against Humanity. So one thing about innovation that I didn't mention is that the idea is that you want to create things that are human-centered, solve a human problem. Not only that, that is super quick, super easy, and super cheap, right? You don't want to spend a lot of time developing something that's going to cost a lot of money only to learn that people aren't going to use it or it won't be valuable. So the reason why this game was so wildly successful is because it costs about $7 to create. So to print this card deck, or you could just download it and now y'all have it for free and you don't have to pay anything. So it's a fun game. It is safe for work questions that you can use in department meetings. You can use it on project teams. You can use this basically anywhere where you're looking to bring some fun and interaction into your work life. They're kind of like table topics, so you could probably even bring these into your personal life as well. So what we're going to do is we are actually going to put everyone in breakouts and we're going to play this game. So we're all going to answer the same question just to make it simple. But I believe there's almost 50 to 52 questions. I don't think it's like a traditional card deck that are in this deck that you can use to create conversations. So
hey, Courtney,
yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you put it back in the chat? Because a lot of us didn't get it at the top.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I will put that back in there for you. Thank you. So the question that we are going to answer, it's actually not a question. I kind of cheated. It's a statement. And the reason why I selected this one is because I think this week has been so powerful for all of us and has brought us so much joy that I want to kind of keep riding that positivity train all the way through the end. So when we get put into breakout sessions, there's a few things that I want each of you to do. So if you all could just write down a note real quick, because I know you won't be able to see a screen when we do this, I'm going to give you all a little bit of instructions. And then when you're ready, just everyone start to nod your head. All right, I'm seeing some head nods. Awesome, wonderful. Okay, so in your breakouts, you will each share who you are and what you do at your credit union. You can share your role if you'd like, your title if you'd like. That's up to you. I'd also like you to share how long you've been part of AACUC. And then I would also like you to share one of your proudest moments. So this is the to be honest card, is share one of your proudest moments. All right, so before we go into our groups, the other thing that I need you all to do is to create a team name as well as a team motto or team chant.
All right, Courtney, I have another question.
All right.
All right, so for the proudest moment, is that professionally or personal?
Anything.
Okay.
Anything you want. This is about you and what you are most proud of. And if that's professional, amazing. If it's personal, that is also amazing. But you can take this question any way you'd like. And that is usually my #1 question. Are we talking professional or personal? And I'd say, do we bring our whole selves to work? Maybe we don't. So I would say whatever your heart desires. All right, so the reason why the team name is so important, and I'll go over this again when we come back, is we will be playing a game of trivia today. Now, we can't be together, and we're not gonna set you up in like a bajillion different breakouts. So the reason why this is gonna work is, as you answer the questions, your question will only be accepted is if you enter your team name with the answer. Okay, so if you answer the question but you don't share your team name, that means someone else can swoop in and get the answer first. So you always want to make sure you enter your team name and the answer. Now the other thing, you guys aren't going to be able to work together, so you're all going to have to trust your teammates to answer the questions correctly or not, and that's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to have you answer who you are, what you do at your credit union, how long you've been part of AACUC. You're going to share one of your proudest moments. You're going to pick a team name, a team motto, or a team chant. Is everybody on the same page? Wonderful. All right, so we're a little bit early for that breakout, but Michelle, if you want to go ahead and get us started, we are ready to go.
One question, since we have 26, do you want 5 breakout rooms or 6?
Can we do 5?
Okay.
Thank you.
It is done. You're welcome. Here we go.
I may need to get put in a room. Hey, I got booted out. I may need to get put in a room. I'm sorry.
No problem. I'm getting ready to put you into one right now.
I'm so.
But somebody else just joined. No problem.
Michelle,
Hey, what's going on?
I've got Denise on the line.
Denise. Oh,
So,
okay.
do you remember when I asked about Prime America's booth? Where was Frederick's booth? Do you remember that on Friday?
Yes, I do.
And remember I was told, oh, well, he never sent the artwork. It's going to take 2 days to build.
Yeah.
I said, okay. It's 2 days. He doesn't speak until Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Get it done.
Mm-hmm. Plus, you had already told them to make up some additional booths for potential last-minute people.
Guess what?
It's not done.
There's no booth there for Frederick. Nope. Nope.
I'm not surprised. She's doing what she want to do. I'm telling you now.
Oh, no, Denise needs to tell you what she said.
Oh God. Well, y'all, can you patch me? And I'm actually, I just did a breakout room and launched it, so they got about 18 more minutes before they come back. I'm just sitting in here waiting for the time to move.
Well, unfortunately, what you said. Unfortunately, remember when you had kind of gotten on me and Amanda about why Vince had not been in the booth, and then Angela showed up later because Angela was in the wrong room. So when Angela came, I said, look, we got to get this thing straightened out with Vincent. And her answer to us was, and I think it was just to me and Amanda, was, I don't care what Renee wants to do with Vincent. I'm not using him because it's not trained on Zoom, and I'll go toe-to-toe with Renee and tell her. So
Yeah.
But
Yep.
I don't care what Renee asked for. I'm not doing it.
Right, because she says, I told him he don't know Zoom. Absolutely not. He is not going to be learning on the job next week. That's what she said.
So that's the part I'm upset about right now. The part I'm upset about is I'll go toe to toe with Renee. Yep, that's what was said. I'll tell her. I'll tell her to her face. I'm not going to let her and then take the conference down or something like that. So that was said. I know it was said, and it was not a right thing to say.
Well, Denise, she said a whole lot of things that she shouldn't have said. I mean, she even tried to shut me down. Well, she did shut me down today, but I wasn't going to say anything because I had people looking in my face and I wasn't going to start an argument. So, I mean, she is bound and determined that she's going to do what she wants the way she wants it.
She has stepped on your toes a lot in our morning meetings.
Mm-hmm.
But she's taken on too much, and then she didn't do what Renee asked her to do.
True.
If you're going to take on everything, you better deliver. She did not listen. I personally did not hear about this booth, but you can't blame this booth on advancement. She's the one with the artwork.
Right.
Unless she gave it to them and they never delivered it.
Well, but see, Renee said, okay, let's back up to 2-3 weeks ago now. If you recall, and you may not have been in the meeting when we had the exhibitors meeting, the very first.
She was in that meeting because she just talked about how we had that advancement had said that give us a cutoff date, but they'll still try to do what they could do.
Right.
Send us stuff late, but go ahead and cut it off this week. We'll still do whatever you send us, but just still cut it off for this Friday.
Right.
That's what I'd heard. I might have not. I missed the part about Fred Pelham's booth, but I remember that meeting when they said, "Look, cut it off this week, but anything you send us, we'll still work on it."
Right. Yeah. And that was like the second meeting. Because the first meeting about it, I had to call Renee because I'm like, no, we're not going to cut it off. So Angela has been trying to cut off the booths for the last 2-3 weeks. And then Amanda said, you gave us another week after that. But then Renee told them a week or more ago, she says, go ahead and make up 2 or 3 more booths just in case we have some last minute people. But then last week, Renee specifically mentioned Pelham. So when I'm talking about a course of like 4 exhibitor conversations.
But can our exhibit hall stay open and we just add 1 more booth? I know that he's missed the conference, but can they still add it? And the exhibit hall stays up on the website? No, I'm not. It's going to stay up, but I don't. It's that. Well, what we'll do is we will Andrew's gonna have to upload some of his stuff on the AACC booth. So the right hand side of the AACC booth can be for Pelham.
So let me ask you this, Renee.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hear what you're saying about the AACUC booth. However, why can't they just put a booth out there, upload his artwork? Was he supposed to have a premium booth or?
No, it wasn't supposed to be premium at all. But at this point, who's going to come?
Well, let me say this. I found out in this meeting that the young professionals are talking about still getting together after Saturday because they want to do some things. So I think we need to keep the conference site up at least through the weekend. I don't know how long we were supposed to have it after the conference ended, but if these young professionals want to come back in here and do some things, that's opportunity for them to see his booth.
Okay.
I just found that out.
Well, we would make their next event presented by Primerica.
Mm-hmm.
Could we give him some exposure that way? So like I said, Frederick is gonna be okay. Denise, Frederick is my stepson. Whatever I do is gonna be fine. I'm just irritated that I'm running the check and I can't get what I want. That's a real problem for me. It's a real big problem for me.
No, I agree.
But all this is learning. All this is learning, and I'm talking it out so I can get past it. Michelle, what did you? I saw you come in. One, how was your doctor's appointment?
It was okay. I've got to wait until next week to for any results to come back, but she's gonna go ahead and transfer me out. And she's gave me a referral.
Okay, good.
So she told me if I don't hear anything in the next 7 to 10 days, call her back. But the things that she checked today look good.
Okay, good.
Thank you. I appreciate you asking.
And Denise, while I'm on Health People, how are you doing? Well, I've been fine. I've been getting blood work. I'm going to have blood work tomorrow morning, just with the thyroid out. The hypothyroid kind of stops working, but it's kind of getting, your calcium level drops. And then I was telling Michelle that my mother actually has tested positive for COVID. But she's asymptomatic. She's healthy as a horse. But they have moved her to a new facility. And it's just more best with the body for every day something. So my prayer is that in 10 days she'll be back in her old room. And the good news, I'm looking at it from the good news, she would have antibodies before the flu season then. So not everybody gets sick with COVID anymore. The issue is most people, if you're healthy, are asymptomatic. And so if she can just be 10 days asymptomatic, they move you right back, you get 2 negative COVID tests, and then you don't skip a beat. The nursing home deaths that occurred in the past, she was not in a nursing home, she was in memory care. The people in memory care are healthy as a horse. She's not on IVs, they're not sick. Right. So I'm just praying that, hey, it's a good thing if she develops antibodies and then she's prepared for the flu season. Good. So that's kind of my little guess, but I'm doing quite well, and blessed and highly favored right now. Blessed and highly favored. Okay. And I'm just looking at everything as a blessing. So hey, my mom has antibodies against COVID. That's what I'm on. It's not gonna be injured by it. Just fine. I got it. Angela has shown us that she absolutely cannot conform in our organization. She cannot do it. But let me say it differently. She will not do it. So, ain't no sense in me having a conversation about what didn't get done because there's only going to be excuses. And it takes the team down. We don't need to take the team down.
Well, Renee, I think that you need to say something because.
Oh, no, I'm going to say something to her personally.
Okay. Because I told her that you are not happy about not getting that Zoom, not letting us in at 4 o'clock today. But it's our fault, right? But you know, Angela was already in the general session at that point. But anyway, she didn't give Angela any instructions, so Angela didn't know what to do. So I had to walk Angela through it on my way back from the doctor's appointment so she could get into it. And she did go ahead and get in and get it going. And then I came and got in because I had this morning, I sent out an email to everybody with some new assignments. And I said that this meeting was going to be all hands on deck. I wanted the entire tech team at the 4:45. Hold on, somebody's coming in the waiting room. Hold on one moment, please.
She's so polite to me. It's always, hold on a moment. Excuse me. Thank you for calling.
Hi, Camille. How are you, sweetheart?
Well, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Well, everybody is in the breakout room, so I'm going to go ahead and assign you a breakout room, okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
Be in there until 7:15, all right?
Okay. Got it.
One moment. All right, and she's off. Okay. All right. What was I saying? Okay, so this morning after I kept saying to her, you know, like we're supposed to be in at 4 o'clock, that's to run a show, and we went through. I said, fine. I'll just have the whole team do all hands on deck because we don't have much time to deal with. But then I had already asked her, go ahead and give Angie Daniels the password to get in case somebody comes. So now she said, when she came in, she told Angela, you go out. You go out and get her back in the regular way. Well, you don't have to make her leave the room. Just like that, you just have Angie turn over the post ability over to you and then make her the co-host. And I said, so, oh, and then she was, I said, Loretta in. No, I don't need her. I said, she's a part of the tech team. Now, mind you, Kathy Mann, and they were looking in my face, so how much did I say and not come across the answer? Yeah, but I just been on a countdown. I'm like, I'm gonna make it work one way or the other. I'm not gonna act a fool if I don't have to, but I'm gonna be effective. Yes, sir. Well, Kathy, no, I was there. I didn't leave. Yeah, no. Because like I said, I did an all hands on deck with the team. I called in Floretta, Frida, Denise, Angie Daniels, and Andrea, because she was telling me, oh, this is gonna be a big one, and I didn't want to mess it up. So this morning I had sent out an all hands on deck to the entire tech team, and they all showed up. Because that's what they do. Because we're not gonna look stupid and fall down.
No.
So it all worked out, and that's what I'm saying. You know, I'm not gonna argue with her on the week of the conference. I'm just gonna make it happen.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys are my trusted advisors. I feel like I'm MLK or the other man, Malcolm. But as my trusted
Okay. Hey, wait. Okay, hold on one second. I get somebody else coming in. Hold on. I apologize.
Because that's where we are. You do realize that this is the moment of time in history. This is where we are. Yeah. And we said this is a movement. It ain't a moment. No, absolutely. Absolutely. And the way that Frederick and Camille laid that shit out, oh my goodness.
Okay.
The whole conference needs to be run on PDF, the whole thing.
You know what? We might be able to make that happen.
The whole thing. From a Black perspective, it's very healing. It's very educational. It should be. There's some white people if they want to learn something. But, and she said, I'm not here to teach. I'm here to heal and to use myself for it. So we needed this as a people, as individuals, as leaders. You need to invest some time in healing yourself. And this is why even I and many other Blacks, we became very depressed after the whole George Floyd thing, because you know that you've been coached with, what I said is, I'm a Jew putting the other Jews in the oven. I'm part of the system. I am an accommodator. I'm living my middle class suburban life, and I'm helping other adult people. That's what I'm doing. And so, am I going to keep doing it? So, I saw this where a college president of this, a white girl, she wrote on her LinkedIn, I'm no longer accepting the things I cannot change. Rather, I'm going to change the things I can no longer accept. And that's why.
Okay, y'all. Look, I'm gonna have to go. It says all the breakout rooms are closing in 60 seconds. So let me call y'all when I get. Okay, bye. Did you all have a great time in the breakout rooms? Y'all, you all can unmute for a second. We've got some more. It's closing in 1 second.
Oh,
They'll be back. They're coming.
Look, I'm on tech support and I had a great time too, Michelle. It was good.
We're good. I missed y'all.
We missed you too.
Were you all alone? Oh man.
I was all alone. Well, I was all alone, but I did have a few people who were coming in that I was having to assign. So I saw a friendly face periodically. And so it was good.
I like your hat, by the way.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Come to the hat contest Saturday morning.
I don't have a hat to wear. I have to go find one.
Well, I just spoke with someone a little while ago, and they said, can I wear like an African wrap? I said, wear your crown, however you decide to wear your crown.
All right. Hat contest it is.
All right.
And so now everyone's back or coming back shortly. I do see Adrian, not to put you on the spot, but did you have anything you wanted to say to our beautiful young professionals this evening?
Oh boy, good evening. Thanks, Opal. How you doing? How's everybody doing?
Good.
It's been an amazing week, and so I'm happy that you all have been able to join us. And certainly, as I mentioned yesterday, young professionals, you are our future. Future looks bright. Malcolm X once said, "The future belongs to those who prepare for it today." And so, certainly, hopefully, you're getting a lot out of this week. I certainly am. And of course, I'm not used to this virtual kind of stuff. But I'm getting used to it, I guess, in wake of of what's happening. I don't, if there's any questions you have for me or anything you want me to talk about specifically, I can. I don't want to bore anybody, but I've been around. Of course, I'm the oldest guy on this particular call. But in a couple months, 2 months and 1 week, I'll be 60 years old. But I started my career when I was 17 years old. So I was there. At one time, I was your age. And so I've been in this industry 42 years, and 23 of it's been with the credit union. And so I've only had 2 employers over the last 42 years. And I've been a CFO, Chief Financial Officer for MICU Credit Union in Baltimore, Maryland, for the last 10 years. And so I also teach on the community college level. I teach an accounting class. That's what my degree is in, accounting. And so I have a bachelor's degree from University of Baltimore, and then I have a master's from Loyola University in Maryland. But I'm one of those guys that went to work before I actually went back to school. So I was not a traditional student. And so I figured it out. But I was also one of those guys who wanted to, I like money. I like being around money. And so wanted to own stuff, people had stuff. And so I was fascinated by money, fascinated by appreciable assets, and fascinated about trying to make some money, and so my first job, and don't laugh too hard, but my first job was a coin teller 42 years ago. See, I see the smiling faces. And so I was actually underneath the bank I worked for. And so that job doesn't even exist anymore. But now, instead of, I mentioned appreciable assets. So instead of being a coin teller, I'm now a coin collector. And so I like collecting silver. I wish I had the money to collect gold, but it's a little more expensive these days. So I do like silver. And so that's I don't know, that's where I am today. I like to say we all have a story. We've had some impactful topics this week. The only thing, if you're not a member, I would say get involved. And when you do get involved, get on a committee. I remember years ago, and so, I really believe in education. You got to have education. So I was an accounting major. I was a guy who liked math, but didn't know where to go with it. And so I didn't want to be a math teacher, didn't want to be math anything. But I took a accounting class along that road and figured it out. That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be an accountant. And so folks that have good math skills have the propensity to be good accountants or good finance people. And so that's the road I travel. So like what you do, right? And so I spent 10 years in the accounting department. So the first 5 years of my career, just trying to figure it out. The next 10 years of my career was in the accounting department. I led the accounting department 7 of those years. And then the last 27 years have been on the finance side. And so just kind of built my way up the ladder. But, I was one of the weakest links, I guess, beginning. But now I'm in the top, I'm in the C-suite. What can I say? But we all have a story. It's not easy. It's not a sprint. It's a journey. It's a marathon. You do have to get along with people, and it doesn't matter what color you are. And so I am I was shy. If you told me 42 years ago I'd be where I am today, I'd say get out of here. Correct. And back then I didn't even know what it was. And so I just knew that I had a good work ethic. I knew I wanted to be at the top, and I knew, I'm smart enough to make that happen, competitive to make that happen. But you gotta get along with people, and you have to be kind of intentional and strategic about what it is you want in your career. And so you gotta have a purpose, right? So you have to be purpose driven. I was very, very intentional on what I wanted. And so I made I took the necessary steps to get there. One other thing I will mention on those lines is basically I did a good job, and so I got my education. I got along with people, but outside of the institution I worked for, I didn't know anybody, and so you got to build your network. And so you're all around this. You look around the same age, a lot of you, and so you should be building your network as you kind of go through this thing. So now, as I go across the country, everywhere I go, I know somebody who knows somebody. And so, that's a beautiful thing. You might have heard, it's not what you know, it's who you know. The flip side of that is who knows you. And so when you reach out to somebody or call somebody, you want them to reach back to you. And so you want them to call you back. And so I believe you have to have the right education. You have to perform. Performance is, put your head down and do what you got to do for the job. You got to give of your time. You got to volunteer. There's been plenty of times that I did things, did not get paid for it, but I met people. I connected with people. And that's a lot of the reason why I'm where I am today. And so I built my network, and since then I've just been rolling. I volunteer on boards. Of course, I'm chair of this board, but I'm vice chair of another board. And so I'm in board of directors for other boards. And so I'm treasurer for another board. And so I just kind of keep involved or get involved in different things that you like to do. You get to pick and choose what it is that you like to do. I see that, so I love Opal because she has that spoken word, man. We have to hear that inspiration. But I see Camille on the call. And so if you saw her session today, man, I mean, that's what you guys, at your age, that's what you should be really, really honing on, financial literacy. The things that Camille said, Frederick Pelham, Hannibal Rumskin, what they were talking about today, that's stuff that's huge. So when you get to my age, you really want to be, kind of like, wow, I'm accumulating this money. I'm in a good situation. I feel good about who I am. And so it's really not, we want to make money. We all want to make money. But if you're a woman, if you're a man of color, if you're a woman of color, it's a struggle. And so, and even if you're not, no matter where you are, you'll never make as much money as you think you're worth. And so for some of us, that means getting a part-time job to kind of supplement or have another stream of earnings, having your own business on the side. And so throughout my career, I've done all of that. And it continues today. My wife and I, we're trying to figure out, okay, once you get ready to retire, we're setting up things now for when January 2nd, 2026 comes. When I retire from my full-time job, we're setting up stuff now that we can carry on past that. And so I told her, I just give me 90 days. I'm going to do nothing for 90 days. After that, we can start rolling. But we're preparing today to make some of those things happen. So that's very important. And so again, hopefully you're getting something out of this. Some really impactful stuff. I've heard terminology I've never heard before. And so, I will say there's racism yesterday, there's racism today, there will be racism tomorrow, or sexism, whatever you want to call it. There will be all of that. The question is up to you, how you're going to move forward. And so I've always been a person who, no matter what's going on at home, no matter what's going on at work, I'm going to move forward and I'm going to make some things happen. And so you got to have that mindset, and you got to be intentional. And then the other thing is give of your time, give of your treasure. And so sometimes you got to roll up your sleeves. Sometimes you got to roll out that checkbook. And so I see Ben on the call, and Ben actually knows George Floyd's fiance. And so AACUC wrote a check today for $750 for Courtney, and I don't know her last name, but whoever his fiance was, we're writing a check for $750 today. And so I told our president and CEO, why don't we just make it 1,000? And so we're kicking it up. We're writing a check for $750, but I'm going to solicit board members, and I already have one to put up the extra $250 to make it an even 1,000. So that's what, and you believe me, it will all come back to you. It will all come back to you, and it comes back in huge ways. And it may not come the day you want it. It may not come after the day after you want it, but it comes, and it will come in huge ways. And I have been very, very fortunate because of that. And so MeQ Credit Union is a $1.3 billion organization. When I got there, we were about a little over 400 million. And, you know, a little black kid from Baltimore City, I run investment portfolios over $400 million. And so just getting the opportunity, and that's why I love this organization, because we want to increase the diversity. We want people of color, but we want talented people of color, not just because you're of color don't mean and that you should just have it. Just because you're of color and you have a college degree doesn't mean you should just have it. You got to have that work ethic. You got to have that drive. You got to be willing to make some things happen. And so we want to increase the diversity in this industry. And so, but we need your talent to continue to make that happen. And we need partners to make that happen as well. And so I'm very, very unapologetic about that, because I've been in a space for the last 37 years that's been predominantly white. And so when I go to conferences, I'm the minority in color, and I'm the minority in numbers and all that kind of stuff. And so I know within this organization, and even some folks that are not in this organization, that there's some talent that should be in some of the. If I can do it, you can do it. That's all I can say. If I can do it, you can do it. And so, but it takes you gotta keep at it. You gotta keep at it, and sometimes you gotta have patience and drive. And so I'll leave it there. Any questions you may have for me? I've been a member of AACUC since about 2002. I actually started with the internship program. And so I don't know if anybody on this line has experienced that, or we're looking for young folks. We started the Crashers, I think, under Tim's administration I guess it's been 5 years ago now. We started the Crashers. But I've been involved with AACUC. It started off getting involved with the internship committee. And from there, we started the Eastern Regional Chapter. You see now we have a Southern Regional Chapter. We have a Western Regional Chapter. We have the Midwest Regional Chapter. But I started with the Eastern Regional Chapter, and I feel like that's like the farm team. So you make it to the big leagues when you get on the national board. And all the folks that were on that board or involved with that board, I was sitting there like you in awe. So 23 years ago, I was 36 years old, so I could have been part of this group. And so, I'm just in awe of some of the status of those folks, the influence of those folks, and just the big things that they were doing. And so if you told me back in 2002 that I'd be chairman, I didn't even want to be, I wasn't even thinking about that back in 2002. I just loved coming to the conferences, having a good time. And every state I go to, I like going to a sports event. So between baseball, football, basketball, everywhere I go, I try to go to a sports event. So that's very, very important to me. Any questions you may have? Oh, the other thing I would say, AACUC has done so much for me. And the reason why I say that, and to whom much is given, much is required. But one of the reasons why I say that, because, we have these conferences and we have speakers and we have all this stuff. And so I gave presentations back in the day as well. My daughter went through the internship program. My daughter's 33 years old now. She's a school teacher, middle school teacher. And so the organization's given so much to me. I also go out and do presentations. There's CU conferences. And so I've been all over the place, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Bahamas, just because of AACUC and its partnership. And so the other thing about being a minority, folks look for minorities to do stuff because they need them in their lineup. And so I'm always available. And so you have to step up. That's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes you have to be ready. And so you can't, all those introverted characteristics that I have, you have to challenge yourself sometimes to raise above where you are. And so you got some great things that are going on. And then you got to say, well, geez, what are my weaknesses? And then we got to work on those, keep doing the strong things, but let's work on those weaknesses so that we can elevate ourselves. And so, any questions? I said a lot. It's a lot. Anything you want
Yeah,
else you need from me, Opal? Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Melanie.
well, I had one question for you. And thank you so much for all of your insights as well and sharing your own personal journey as well. And like, I was thinking about that first role at the credit union and how that's probably shaped a lot of your experiences too, is kind of climbing through that experience. And one of my questions, just because you've been in leadership positions for a long time and we've got a lot of young professionals on the call, is, you know, you have the opportunity to meet and interact with a lot of rising stars and a lot of talent. And what is it, I would say, when you meet someone who is an emerging leader, if you will, or a newer employee, what is it that when you have that interaction with them that tells you, okay, this person has potential or this person's going somewhere? What are those key characteristics?
A lot of times is how they interact with others. And so I am a introvert, and I used to be a shy person. But when I get on certain stages like this, you rise to that occasion. And so I'm most of the time I'm listening as opposed to talking. And so I'm a very observant person. And so you look at the way people carry themselves. And so, you know, are they professional? How do they talk? How do they speak to others, right? And so how do they work the room? If you're in a room, you don't know anybody, what do you do? And so I see all those things. And so I think yesterday you had Tracy Jackson on the panel. So Tracy worked for me for 10 years. But when we worked together, I never said Tracy worked for me. I said Tracy and I worked together. And so, but I saw from day one, she wanted to be in a CFO role that she's in today. And so I realized, you know, she kind of took on things. For one, and this kind of goes above and beyond just meeting somebody. But I knew right away that she took on responsibility, for one. And if she had to collaborate or go talk to somebody about something, she didn't come to me and run to me about stuff. She handled it, all right? And I would find out later. I said, well, why didn't you come to me? Well, you know, I needed to handle that myself. And so she was that type of person. But I would say professionalism, you notice that right away. You notice drive right away. You notice energy right away. You recognize spirit right away. And so being positive, you know, that's huge. Are you a person that's positive, or are you a person that's negative? And it's written all over your face a lot of times, right? And I don't have, you know, I got one of these faces that is not the most, I guess, a stoic kind of face. You know, it's not I'm not a smiley. I am from the hood. I am not a smiley kind of guy, I'm gonna tell you. And so, but I'm a nice guy. And so when people get to know me, they realize, well, geez, he has, you know, this guy will tell you everything if you want. You know, that's the other thing about getting old. You got a lot of stories. And so there's a lot of wisdom there, a lot of experience there. But what I realized, though, is you have to go for what you want, but you don't have to be aggressive, and you don't have to be overly aggressive. And you don't have, you know, I don't like people who talk a lot. It's just me, because people who talk a lot at my age, they haven't done anything but talk. And so when you do talk, make sure you talk with a purpose. And so I'm a quiet guy. So I listen to people, and so you have to listen to people to see where it is that you like and where you want to go with that. And so I'm very observant, and just kind of, you get a feel for people, you know, positive spirited, energetic, positive people. You know, I'm the kind of guy who likes helping people, love helping people. But I learned along the way, you can't help everybody, and everybody don't want to be helped. And so, you know, they drag you down, they burn up your energy. And so I guess I would have more hair if I didn't let people take advantage of me when I was your age. So, And so, any other questions? That was a good question, by the way. Thank you. Anybody else? Good stuff. I'm just glad Opal gave me the opportunity. You know, chair, I've been chair. So tomorrow will be my last official day as the chair. So I'm outgoing. And so it's been a great experience. Again, if you told me 4 or 5 years ago when I got on the board that I was going to be chair, I would have said, you're crazy. But I just want to do my part. And so sometimes you got to step up and take the role. One of the things I wanted to do for this organization, I wanted to be more visible. So 2 years ago, a month after I even got in the chair, I thought, I'd be able to rest a little bit and just take it easy. I had to make a presentation in front of CUNA. And so, and when I got the call, they were saying, do you want to come to Washington, D.C. and make a presentation? And my first response, if they only saw my face, it was like, no, I really don't want to do that. But I remember in my mind that I wanted this organization to be more visible. And it just so happened the chair of CUNA at the time, Maurice Smith, behind the scenes, I know he probably set that up. But that's one of the best things that happened for this organization for the next 2 years. And so I've been part of written articles. I've been on panels. I've been part of podcasts. My wife and I have been on podcasts. And so all this stuff opened up just from that one presentation. And so you never know, sometimes you never know where your blessings will come. But if you're doing the right things, they will come. And they never, sometimes they don't come when you want them to come, but I will say they do come right on time. Right, Michelle? All right.
Absolutely. I concur, Chairman.
Okay. So yeah,
great job.
This is my last, I guess tomorrow is my last official day. I have to introduce Rodney Hood. We had a conference in Baltimore back in 2007. I was part of that committee. I introduced Chairman Hood. And so just at the GAC earlier this year, I introduced the chairman, Chairman Hood. So this is his second time around on the NCUA board. And so you never know. You never know where you're going to end up.
Hey, Adrian, can I jump in? And I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
First off and foremost, thank you so much for your contribution and your support for Courtney Ross. It just means the world, and I know it will mean the world to them as well. So thank you for leading that. I think it's just exemplary and such a showcase of what credit unions do as community give back organizations. So thank you so much for what you've done there.
Oh, no problem.
So my question was, if you had a charge for our young leaders on the call today for leading your legacy into the future as you're departing from AACUC as the chairman, what would that be?
Getting involved, and it's something that you care about, right? And so if it's something we care about, we tend to do a better job with it, right? And so you choose. We got plenty of committees. We got plenty of work to get done. But I think that, look at our president, CEO, Renee, and Renee has Michelle on her team. There's probably a number of things that they would like for us to get done. And you all bring that energy. You guys bring that spirit, but also we're in the technology age. And so the automation, you're in link, all these different types of social media, Lord have mercy, social media. And so if we can do something on social media to have a flash mob, why can't we do something on social media to raise $1 million for AACUC? Why can't we do something in social media? So I would say, Opal, we got this young professional group. What is it that they can help AACUC do? And as a group, as a collaboration, what would they like to do? And so, Ben, I think you're in Minnesota, and are you part of the credit union league there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so Caroline Willard, she's I think she's at Cornerstone Credit Union League. Her and John Bratsakis, who's at the Maryland DC Credit Union Association, and I know John, and we did a panel discussion. Renee and I, we moderated a panel discussion about DEI and the racism that's happening, commitment to change, and so you know, an idea can turn into you can turn that into, make that happen and make things come into fruition. And so I would like to say, okay, we heard Frederick Pelham on the call today, $750, 66 years from now, if you invest that at 12%, that's a $1.5 million. I want you guys to think big, but strategically, and collaborate and say, this is what we can give to AACUC. And you guys decide, but it's got to be something that you want to do. And so I just think it's so many different things, but you're young and all, you guys love being on social media. That's the other thing, you guys don't like talking to people. Pick up the phone. You got to talk to people. And I know a lot of it has to do with your parents and all that kind of good stuff. But once in a while, you got to say hi, or you got to look somebody in the eye. And I know that's different, but it's true. It's old school. And so guys like me, and I go back to Tracy, I'm a baby boomer. Tracy, I think, is a little older than a millennial, but, and I'm not exactly sure. But the point is, we're from two different generations, and somehow we had to get along. But I sat her down when she came first to work with me. I sat her down and said, I know you like, every time you do something, I know you like getting that recognition and all that kind of stuff. I'm not that kind of guy, right? I will recognize you though. I will recognize you in a way that is better and brighter than you'll ever imagine. She's a CFO now. And so that's what I'm talking about. And so I think that you guys should collaborate on something what it is that you want to do, and help out AACUC and make that happen, whatever it is. That's a good question. I see Andrea on the phone. And so Andrea did she does financial literacy. And so one of the areas that I run now is a financial wellness group. And so I would like my financial wellness person to connect with you, Andrea, because your message yesterday was so good. And so,
thank you.
The power of the network, staying positive, making things happen. But at the end of the day, you want to help somebody, right? And so that's what I was always taught. You're put on this earth to help somebody. And so that's what we're supposed to be doing. You guys say something, Ben, or?
I think we all kind of want to say something.
Okay.
Yeah. We all just thought we would unmute so that we could verbally say thank you so much for everything that you shared.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you want me to stay on, Opal, or you want me to drop off? What do you want me to do?
You can stay and hang out. We're gonna do a couple trivia questions, or you can drop off, but you're welcome to stay. We're just gonna try to have some fun.
Just remember, I'm not your mom or dad, your granddad, and so I'm just here, and so I'll just be quiet. But
thank you so much, Adrian.
You're welcome.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna do our best to get a few trivia questions underway before we do our final breakout sessions. And the final breakout session is really just to give the groups an opportunity to exchange contact information that you were able to meet with. So we're gonna do our best to get all this done and get everyone out right on time. So make sure that you share your team name. I see some of you have already entered it into your actual name, but make sure that you just share that with your answer. So it could be like X name dash and your answer. If you don't see a team name, that means you can steal that answer. So let's move it quickly. And we're just going to go ahead and get started. So the first question is, and this is in Jeopardy format, I should have mentioned. So who is or what is would be the appropriate way to respond. He is the first African American to have his likeness portrayed on a U.S. postage stamp. And I'll repeat again. He is the first African American to have his likeness portrayed on a U.S. postage stamp.
I knew it.
We still do not have any correct answers.
Don't see the right answer yet.
And it looks like we have the correct answer. Mitchell, coming in with Cuppa Truppa.
Koopa Troopa.
Koopa Troopa. Okay, we're gonna forgive it this time just based on time, Casey, but I can appreciate your...
That is not the rule. Oh.
Did you not know you were unmuted?
China,
Live
that was the
sass.
best thing I've heard all day.
Agreed, China.
sorry, I didn't mean that.
I love it.
We're
Don't
good,
ever
China.
apologize. Don't apologize. That was awesome. Okay. But remember, yes, please do question format. We're just running out of time and I want to make sure we get a few questions in. Okay. On this day, HR 1151, Credit Union Membership Access Act, was passed. On this day, HR 1151, the Credit Union Membership Access Act was passed. SGS. Which, that stands for Sunshine Go-Getters. I happen to be on that team, but I assure you, I did not provide any of the answers.
Yes, all right.
Way to go.
Nice.
All right. Question number 3. She is ranked as the second best-selling female artist of the 21st century with record sales of more than $37 million.
Oh, Koopa Troopa.
All right, and then Michelle, we're just gonna do one more question and then go into breakouts if that's okay. Perfect. All right, and so our last question for trivia is, America's first credit union was located in Manchester, New Hampshire. What nonprofit has taken its place? So America's first credit union was located in Manchester, New Hampshire. What nonprofit has taken its place?
You too.
Oh, you too. Way to go. All right. Bravo. All right. So what we're going to do is we are going to go back into the same breakout sessions that we were in before. And we just want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to exchange phone numbers, email addresses, LinkedIn profiles. Just want to give everyone a final chance to celebrate together, say their goodbyes, and then we're going to meet back for just a few more minutes for a final wrap-up session. So make sure you have all of your business cards ready. I say that in air quotes because we're not passing those out anymore.
Courtney, do you want 5 or 10 minutes in the breakout room?
Can we do 5?
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, here you go. Mr. Johnson, you were not, Chairman Johnson, excuse me, you were not here when we assigned breakout rooms. Would you like to be assigned to a breakout room?
Yeah, why not? What the heck?
All right, here, we get ready to move you now. Angie, do you want to go to a breakout room?
voicemail from Renee Fatty White, and I'm not a
Welcome back, everybody.
All right. Well, now that everyone is back, I hope everyone has had an opportunity to exchange information, share LinkedIn profiles, just any last minute thank yous and virtual hugs that we can give each other and support. Last, before we end our time here together, something that the Cooperative Trust is partnering with AACUC as well as YPS on over the next year is for us to work together to to create some sort of project. And so Adrian, I don't know if you knew this, but your words were wonderful because this is something that we were actually planning to do already. So the Crashers in the Cooperative Trust are in. Any of the YPS members that are listening that want to participate as well, please join us. This is definitely a joint and collaborative effort. We want to make sure that everyone is represented, and everyone is represented, and all voices are brought to the table. We don't have all of the specifics yet, and that's okay, because when we solve some of the world's biggest problems, sometimes we have to sit and listen to what some of the problems that people are facing first before we can actually decide. So Opal, I don't know if you want to share any final words with the group. I know we don't have, like I said, a whole lot of details about the project, but if there's any other final bits of wisdom that you would like to drop on us, please feel free.
Yeah, no, just I would say, as Courtney's saying, stay tuned for this project. And if you, we have some ideas about how we would like to look back and kind of tell the history, specifically history of African American credit unions, and we'd love for it to be told by the voices of the future. So if you have ideas for that, we're forming this. So please reach out and be a part of creating this. We don't want this to just be something that a few folks have a couple ideas and are setting up. We'd love this to really be a collaborative effort for real. So if you've got ideas, passions, connections, let's talk and let's start doing that. And we'll stay connected. And we're looking to have quarterly meetings where all of us who are interested in sticking together will meet. And then hopefully it'll be in person at AACUC next year around this time. And we'll get to really have a good time on our Visa Young Professional Night Out.
Awesome. And before we close, I just want to give an opportunity for any of the members of YPS or the Cooperative Trust to just share any learnings or anything that you just found to be very valuable over today's sessions. We have about 5 minutes, so try to be as succinct as possible.
I'll just say really quick that quote that Opal shared about speaking up even when your voice shakes. I know it's not the direct quote, but it was along those lines. I did write it down, and I was really I loved that. It's something that resonated with me to the max. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I definitely try to live by that one. So I feel you. Yeah.
I just keep going over what Hannibal was saying, and particularly highlighting the intersection of power and also financial power, but also geographic power in banks. And being new to the movement, I get it. Like, I get banks are bad. I've heard the stories, right? But man, that was powerful. It was a powerful illustration. So yeah, it's rocking my world right now.
I kind of feel like I've just been through every emotion throughout this week. And so today I just kind of hit a point of frustration. And I was actually telling Cedric this last night as he and I were kind of talking, wrapping up. I just get frustrated at myself that it took me so long to come to a realization of the unfair treatment, the injustices, and kind of things like that. But out of my frustrations is birthed a passion to make sure that I'm not a part of the ignorance moving forward. And so even today, the stuff that I was hearing, it just kind of blows my mind that people of color have been living so long with so much stacked against them, and I've just been walking around, no, it's fine. And so for me, it's just been this awakening to even more against my own ignorances and biases, and not even realizing that it had been there. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think you mentioned yesterday your dad not even talking to you, Casey. So that's a lot of courage, man. So I certainly appreciate that. That takes a lot of courage. Thank you.
Thank you. We haven't spoken since May, so here's to to a good August. But I appreciate that.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for sharing. Is there anyone from YPS? I know we heard from a few crashers that maybe want to share something before we wrap up.
Oh, sorry. I have no idea what was said because something happened with my audio and everyone froze. But one thing that I am thinking about is back to some training I did in college about there's a big spectrum between discrimination and being an advocate. People don't just wake up and then they become an advocate and they're still like, maybe you're just a supporter at this point in time. And maybe, there's just because you support it doesn't mean you're an advocate. And I feel like that's something that I'm thinking about more and more as I go back to my organization, is how we bridge that gap for folks and go, one step further. We're not just here to support this, we're here to advocate for it, and we're here to be allies. So how can I be an influence in that regard?
Awesome. Thank you, Melanie. Okay, well, we are coming to a close on our time together. I do just want to remind everyone, as you can see, all of the LinkedIn profiles are in the group chat. Once it closes, that might disappear. So if you want to make sure you click on all of those names as fast as you can, go for it. And then the last bit is I did add the files for the To Be Honest game back into that chat as well. If you happen to miss downloading that information, you can reach out to me at any point in time. I will be happy to share that with you by email. My email address is courtneya@filene.org, and that is Courtney with no U. So courtneya@filene.org, and I will get that over to you as quickly as possible. But thank you so much. We appreciate you spending your evening with us. We hope that you learned a little bit of awesome trivia, as well as some of the amazing insights that Chairman Johnson was able to share with us this evening. So thank you so much, and we'll see you all tomorrow afternoon for our last day.
Thanks for the opportunity. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Courtney.
Bye, everybody.
Night, everyone.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Thanks.
Hi, thank you.